Hello, and welcome to this part of the pond of the Bullfrog Reviews, where I'm going to give you a review on a book titled The Casual Vacancy. Now, before I go into this book, I want to talk to you about two iconic authors that have changed the modern day culture and some form and literature itself right now. J K Rowling and George R. Martin. Both of them came out with books that, well, let's face it, book series, by the way, that changed fantasy, which is, of course, Harry Potter and Game of Thrones, two books that became pop culture. Harry Potter and Game of Thrones, two books that series that, well, have us still talking right now. Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. And who both have made an adult fiction turn into a show by HBO. Game of Thrones and Casual Vacancy, done by J K Rowling. Before I go too far into that comparison, and it's going to be important, I found this is at your local library, these things, I believe so. And all that you have to get is a AAA battery, put it in, and here's your book. Here is your book. You can put it in your thing, do it as you're walking or whatever. You do not have to buy it. It's like a rent. And that's what I found here. This is my first experience with it. And I saw this book about J K Rowling, this adult fiction. What's its premise? What's it about? Well, a man dies. Bum, bum, bum. Something out of the normal, right? Well, he had a brain aneurysm and died. And he was part of this town council, or city council. I'm an American. I do not understand the local politics of across the pond. But he died, and in his city, or town, or whatever, there had these projects. And he was doing his best to fight for them. And with his death, there's only a certain amount of people that want to protect that. Because they want to keep this part of their town, their city, while the other people that are against it, the field, that spot, the projects, they want it out. Let it be another city's responsibility. And so we have these two butting heads, but now he's dead. What's going to happen? And as this story goes on, the people that are defending the projects, some dark secrets come out. So in the end, can the project still be saved? That's the concept of this book, The Casual Vacancy. That sounded good. That sounded, well, deep, mature. And that's where it's the only good, and then things start to fall apart, both in the book and how the book is. There's no likable character. There is no one that you want to cheer for. The characters are awful. They're selfish, they're annoying, and you do not connect to them. In this movie, Harry Potter, Harry Potter and the book series of Harry Potter, you can connect with people. But J K Rowling, after she finished this, she came out with this. This came out 2012, the book. And, well, I guess she wanted to put on, I don't want to be labeled by Hogwarts and Harry Potter anymore. I want to put myself in the adult world. I want to put myself in this. So I'll put my book out here. I'll be a mature audience. Oh my gosh, it's meant for a mature audience. It's disgusting. Look, if you want to go for a mature audience, let me suggest someone for you, J.K. Rowling. Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, it is a dark, depressing place with a lot of mature themes and a lot I need to fast forward to. And as awful as that is, you have likable characters. First person that comes to mind, Davos Seaworth, Jon Snow. Anyone that has the last name Mormont, let's face it, Mormonts are awesome. If there was a Mormont mug or a Mormont think I want it. Mormonts need more representation. Lannisters, Starks, Targaryens, they get all the glory. Where's the Mormonts? But that rant aside, really, if anyone can tell me where I can find Mormont merch, please tell me. Really? But that rant aside, there's still light. There's people you connect with. There's people that you, importantly, like. There's no one here that's good. Other than, at the beginning there was Crystal. She's in the projects. She's this disgruntled child. She has a single mother. She has a 3-year-old brother. Her mother is a little out there on the drugs. So she's almost like a parent to her 3-year-old brother. And then the book goes on. And it goes on. And it goes on. And it goes on. This is it was awful. One good character, and you devolve them. Yes, there's some characters that get devolved. But it's not as bad as it in here. And speaking of spots when you need to fast forward, there's a lot in here. And I admit, and here's the thing, I have a line when it comes to fast forwarding. I give you 3 shots, and then you're done. The problem with George R. Martin is he cooks you. He leaves you with characters you like. Unlike some. He gives you a little bit of levity. It's small, but it's there. There's nothing in here. With George R. Martin, guess what? There's actually a sense of hope. You need an antidepressant after this. I am not kidding. I highly recommend an antidepressant if you even dare to read this or listen to this. I haven't seen the show, and I don't want to after dealing with this. No joke. So why am I saying fast forwarding with George R. Martin? Again, I have a line, but he has me hooked. He has a good story, and he also has build up. Oh my gosh, I see what's going on here. Fast forward. Oh, I'm safe. It's happening. Oh, I'm safe. And I didn't get to the bad stuff. There's this build up. It's going. Daenerys give him a look. Nod her head. Okay. Thank you. Didn't come out of the blue. Out of the blue. And here's the thing you should know. I didn't realize it. That's the most important thing. That is actually the biggest flaw of this. This book has these things. This fast forward bit right here. Fast forward. When it fast forwards, it actually skips an entire chapter. I fast forwarded a few times, and I didn't notice the book. I didn't miss anything. I didn't lose anything. When I skip chapters, or let alone a section from your book, and didn't notice any change, didn't feel like I lost any of the story, I lost book from this, listening to this, trying to skip it because of the mechanics of this. And what does that show? I still kept in line. I didn't miss anything. I didn't feel like I missed an episode. I feel like I didn't miss a season. When you're writing like that, that is the biggest flaw. I can skip parts of your book, and I didn't get confused. I had no idea where I was. I didn't feel any of that. That's the worst flaw. Their smut was bad. Oh my gosh, yes, I had to skip. It was getting close to flirting with my line, and then it stopped. But it still was horrible. There's a character by the name of Samantha. She was disgusting. She was really disgusting, really horrible. Lannister had some people that were horrible. Well, Lannister is kind of a horrible family in the Game of Thrones, but in Game of Thrones, there's a lot of horrible people. But they also had the best comeuppance. Joffrey, I'm looking at you. I love that death. You cheer for people to go down. Here, you cheer everyone to go down. And Samantha, doesn't get that hard of a fall. But also, Samantha was disgusting. I hated her. What did she do? This is a full adult woman. And I don't want to get any more into it. It's awful. We had a name for special people like her. It begins with a P. And I'm going to end it like that. In here, J K Rowling. This was bad. Bad characters. I was skipping chunks of your book and I didn't miss anything. The smut. But through some miracle, and it wasn't out of free will. I think it's because of what Elaine says from Seinfeld. Jerry, you're watching movies so bad, but you want to get to the end because you want to see the end of this train wreck? That's what I'm doing. That's what I went through. I'm happy I was at work, because you know why? I didn't feel like I felt like I didn't lose a piece of my life to nothing, because guess what? I was working. I was doing something. So I didn't feel like I lost a piece of my life. This was bad. Where'd I give it from 1 out of 7? Well, let's see here. If I would rate this 1 out of 7, 7 being great, 1 being, well, I would have preferred Mary Kate and Ashley, I would give this a 2. A 2. The concept, the idea of the story is actually really good. And that's it. There's nothing good in this. If you ever read this or discover the show, it's your own peril. It's your own peril. But the fact that no one has ever heard of this, that I know of, or people even realize about this, I think it shows why I accidentally stumbled onto this book. And this is the Bullfrog signing out and hoping for a better life.